Never met someone like you, felt something like your touch. I wish we would've met tonight. Sure, I've had lovers in my past, won't lie, I've had a blast, but none of them had your humor.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the 7th episode of The Southern Crown. My name is Chloe Dietz, I'm your host, and today I'm here with
Ashley Copeland, CEO and owner of Crymar Finishes.
Yes! I love that! Oh my gosh! Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this is my mom. So, okay, I want you to tell them a little bit about what it is to be mom of Chloe Dietz, just real fast.
Mom of Chloe Dietz has been the most special time of my life.
Oh, guys.
I have been a single mom of Chloe Dietz since she was about 4 years old. And that was one of the most challenging times of my life, but also one of the most special times of my life because I've bonded with such a special child.
And this is my very best friend. She's literally here for everything, pageants, cheerleading, all the things that I tried to do.
I'm also a mom, not just your best friend.
She's also my mom. She very much...
Mom first.
Yes, she's my mom first, but best friend is what I think allows us to move so smoothly through all of the different things that we decide to take on.
Yes. Yeah. And now partner.
Yes, exactly. Partner in, we have cycle connections together, which I really wanted to do together. You were a little hesitant for it to be both of our thing, but I really wanted that to be an us, and now we're in on that together, and I feel like that's the most, it's just the most exciting thing that I've ever got to do with you. I love it.
It's a nice little launching pad into the next phase of your life.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Okay, so I want to talk about business stuff. I want you to tell me about Crymar, because, I know a little bit about it, but do the people know?
So when I finished with school, I moved back to Houston from North Carolina. I had attended college there. And when I moved back to Houston, I got pregnant and had Chloe. And at about 6 months or so, I decided that being a stay-at-home mom probably wasn't the best thing for me. And I needed to go back out into the real world and do something where I interacted with adults, because I was not born for interacting with babies, and God bless those women who were. Please! So I went back to work, and I went to work for my family's flooring company and countertop company. I had been raised in that business, and a few years later, we decided that my parents were going to retire and that I was going to move into the next stage of my life. And I went to work for a business called Crymar Finishes. And not long after that, I decided that being the owner of Crymar was what I was probably going to end up doing. And the current ownership phased out, and me and my current partner, Rick, purchased Crymar. It was a long, tedious process.
I was there for it all.
It spanned over years and years and years. But in the end, I got what I wanted, and now I have Crymar and all of the beautiful people who come with it.
Yes, go Crymar. We love that. Okay, you said when you got done with school.
Yes. I
want you to talk about school, all the things you studied, everything. I want you to talk about all of it and how you ended up to the path you got on now.
Okay. So when I graduated from high school, I was 17, and I decided that I wanted to move away to college, but I really didn't have a lot of knowledge about college. And back then there was no internet or anything to really kind of launch you into that knowledge path. And it was more about who you know and connections like that. And I just didn't have any of that. My parents didn't go to college. And so my friend, my best friend growing up, she was going to go to Texas A&M and first blend. And so I decided, hey, I'll just go with her. We'll figure it out together. So I moved to College Station, and then, I'm weaving my web, right?
No, this is good.
Okay.
This is good. You were C-Stat queen.
Yeah, so I was C-Stat queen for a year. I had a boyfriend back home that I just couldn't help but get back to. That didn't work out. Then I secretly applied to college in North Carolina. I had a friend who had moved to North Carolina and was raising her family there. She was an older friend that I had met through work. And I secretly applied to college, and I went to visit her. And while I was there, I got a driver's license so that when I got my college application back, if I was approved, then maybe I wouldn't have to pay out-of-state tuition.
Stop! I didn't even know this.
So I had one of my credit card statements sent there or whatever.
You're ridiculous.
So I got accepted to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and I was working at the time for a commercial collection agency doing some analysis stuff, and I decided that I was just going to quit my job and move there. And so I told my boss that I was moving, and he was like, "Oh, this is great. Let me help you find a job there."
Stop! I love that.
Yeah, connected me with my job that I got when I moved there. And I told my parents one night when I got home from work, and I packed up my stuff 3 weeks later and drove across the country and moved to North Carolina. And it was the best thing I ever did for myself, because I never really saw myself until then. I think that was the start of me being able to see what I was capable of doing, not only in a silo, but also with resources around me who were supporting me.
Yes. And now you have me.
Yeah. And so then fast forward a couple of years, I ended up meeting through my job that I got. I met Chloe's dad. He was being deployed overseas. And so I agreed to go on a date with him right before he got deployed, because I was like, if I don't like this guy, then...
It's okay. He'll be like over yonder.
Yeah, he'll be gone and I'll never have to talk to him again. So
she talked to him again, guys.
Yeah, we went on a date. We fell in love. We got married. A year later, we had Chloe.
Yes.
And he was an engineer when he graduated from college. We decided that we would apply for jobs. Like, we're all over the place, and wherever he got a job, we would move to. And he got a job in Houston, and we moved back to Houston.
Yes. And now we're still here to this day. Okay, so I don't know if the people really know this. Now that we're talking about living places.
Oh, gosh.
You know what's coming.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about Costa Rica. Because
the tea is piping hot. Here it comes, guys.
A select few people know about this, because I don't talk about it. I'm sure you don't really.
Yeah, it's definitely. So one of the things that I think is really critical to learn about life is that there are lots of different seasons of your life, and that those seasons connect together, but they also sometimes are in the past, and so you just move forward past them. But
it's also important to acknowledge that without one there wouldn't be the other.
Fair enough.
Yes. Okay,
so let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to know, why did we move to Costa Rica?
You're so ridiculous.
I want to know.
So I guess through
let's ponder. Not all who ponder are lost.
Oh God, please. So after me and your dad got a divorce, I did while me and your dad were still married, we all traveled to Costa Rica together, and while we were there, I fell in love. And I told your dad when we were there, I was like, I have to live in this place at some point in my life.
Was he like, no?
And he was like, I don't think that they pay as much as oil and gas jobs in Houston here, so I don't think we're coming.
And definitely probably not.
But don't worry, we'll get a vacation house one day. And I'm like, oh, fine, okay. So go back home. We ended up getting a divorce, and about, I guess, 6 months after we got a divorce, his job ended up transferring him to Europe. And when that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, this is my shot. Like, this is my chance.
The door just to open.
Yeah. And I traveled to Costa Rica a couple of times on my own. Since then, I had met some people in a really awesome community, and everyone thinks that I moved there for a man. I did not.
They think that?
Oh yeah, lots of people think that, I think.
Why?
But I didn't. I had some friends who were musicians there. I did some really fun stuff with them while we were out there.
She took me with us too.
Yeah, and so, that's the best part of it.
I was like the little roadie kid.
So I put our house on the market. Well, first me and you went to Los Cucos, and we had dinner, and we made a chart.
Oh my gosh,
and it was the pros and cons of moving to Costa
So if you know me, if you're one of my friends, you know that I'm a pro-con chart maker to this day.
Yes.
And I still make them about like pretty much every decision that I think will have a lasting impact, whether it's like I actually write it down or just talk about it. And I think this is where it started because we literally went to dinner with like a pad of paper and wrote pros and cons on one of the, I don't remember the pros and cons. Do you remember?
There was a whole sheet of pros. We had a whole page, and you had been to Costa Rica too a couple times, and you loved it also.
And they had purple Doritos there before they had them in the United States. And I remember I really wanted the purple Doritos all the time.
Yes, girl.
Yeah.
Well, we had one con.
What was
at the end, and that's why we decided that we would move, is because we only had one con.
One con?
Con.
I know what the con was.
Do you remember?
Was it that Mimi would be sad?
Mimi would be sad.
Yeah.
And that con remained, and to this day, Mimi's still sad that we were gone, even though we're back.
But we're back.
Anywho.
It's good.
Yeah, so we, I called my friend who's a realtor, and I put my house on the market, and my house sold before the next morning, without even someone looking at it.
I didn't
just
know that.
Based on the pictures. And I just knew. I was like, this is what, like, it's meant to be. This is the path. Like, here we go. And so that was at the end of the year. And just a few weeks later, we had everything we owned in 4 suitcases. Everything else. I got a dumpster. Do you remember this?
I don't remember any of this.
I had a dumpster, like a 40-yard or a 20-yard roll-off brought to the house. I dumped everything. Any plastic toy, any crap that had come out of a Happy Meal, everything went into the trash. I kept like a bag of trophies.
Yes, and you kept like my tea set and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we brought my piano with, like, my keyboard with us. Oh, okay. So she had all the clothes, everything that actually mattered. What I had was like yoga mats and a guitar and some ukuleles.
Yeah. So we moved to Costa Rica. And we did that for a little while, and
it was iconic. I'm gonna insert some photos.
Yeah, icons right here.
Yeah,
but yeah, we lived off the land and off of love.
Tell stories of Costa Rica. I'm sure people are curious. Like,
okay,
yeah.
So one of the things that we did while we were living there is we went and did like a little road trip around the country, and we went to a bunch of different towns. We went to a volcano.
I like literally still have nightmares about it because it didn't like go off ever.
No.
Yeah, was it inactive?
Yeah, I don't think that they still go off.
Yeah, like it was pretty much inactive.
Yeah. But we went to a Quaker community and to a cheese factory.
I remember while we were staying, it was Monteverde, right? While we were staying in Monteverde, I like had a dream that night. I was like, this thing is gonna go off and it's gonna kill us. Which I don't even think it probably would have killed us.
Yeah.
But even if it did go off. But I still have dreams about it.
Yeah.
Even though it's not going to happen. But yeah, the Quaker community.
Yeah.
And now I'm obsessed with Amish people, even though it's not the same thing. But I'm obsessed with Amish people now.
But that was the point where I knew, if I can do this, there's really not anything that's going to hold me back except for my own limiting beliefs. And when it was time to come home, I was kind of off to the races at that point. It was like, okay, now I've fulfilled this need that I had to find myself and find my heart. And through a lot of self-work, I finally realized that my passion was for people, and that I love people and I love to help people. And that looks a lot of different ways for me now in my life.
Okay, awesome. So you did a perfect segue. That was really good. You should run the podcast.
Thank you.
No, but I want you to talk about now everything you've done for women in your industry. This is a male-dominated industry.
Yes. I work in construction.
Yes.
Flooring specifically. I do multifamily interiors. We do lots of government housing. We do lots of low-income housing, but also a good mix of really high-end stuff as well. So what did you want to know?
I want to know about what you do for women.
Oh, okay.
You just said a lot of great stuff about your community, though. Slay.
So one of the things that really kind of propelled me to want to do something so different, because working for government and doing government work is challenging.
Right.
But as a woman who found herself in a very fortunate position after a divorce, I knew how hard even that was. And being able to do something for people who may not be able to afford a home, like what I do is so small, like in the scale of what low income and government housing is, but it's impactful for my heart, and it means something to me.
Well, but it's not small in the lives of those who it is directly affecting.
It is, though. Like nobody's like sitting around day to day like, God bless the flooring company who put my flooring in. But what but people appreciate it holistically, right? Exactly. And so when I find myself in a challenging situation with paperwork, or I'm always positive about it. It's like, okay, this may suck right now, and this may be hard, but ultimately, I'm doing something for the good. So get over it and make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
What a great mindset to have. And she has put that onto me. I feel like my whole life, just get over it and make it happen.
Yeah, just get over it and do it.
Mindset of like pretty much everything. Yeah. And it sounds harsh, but it really isn't.
It's not.
That's like the bare minimum of what you need to be doing, because those, I was actually talking about this with Taylor the other day. We're talking about gentle parenting.
Oh yeah.
And about how that doesn't really work, because you have to just be kind of like straightforward and stand strong in what you're saying.
There's a difference in being direct and being rude.
Right.
Like, you can be direct with someone without being rude. And I will tell you that, speaking of my empowering of women, I've found myself in situations where I have done the opposite of that. And it's been through my harsh words, because I am very direct. I'm a direct communicator. I don't mince my words, but I do try to speak with kindness and say things that are important. But some of my biggest failures too with women have been through bad communication.
Yes.
So one of the things that I've always really loved to do is hire young women and work with young women, and also with women my age, and women my age who maybe are going back into the workforce, or women who haven't like really found their spot. I think finding what people are good at and helping people find what they're good at can really help propel someone into the next season of their life. Helping people see themselves and see what they're good at, and then putting them in a position to thrive. A lot of times, especially women, I find love to prey on each other's downfalls. Yes. And even women in the corporate world will put each other in situations where they are not going to thrive, just to penalize the other person.
And I think that comes from a place of like, women were pushed down a lot by men, intentionally or unintentionally.
Fair.
So we feel like we have to, there's only spot for one.
Yeah.
And we have to push down the other one so that we have our opportunity, which is not how it is, especially I feel like today.
Yes. It's total mindset shift. It's the same thing as when having a negative mindset. I think that these are things that will change who you are as a person, and then will ultimately allow you to be your most successful self. If every time you think something negative, you turn around and go, no, I'm not doing that. Nope. Every time you get nervous about something, you throw it out of your mind. And just move forward, because if you don't, then you're going to be stagnant.
Okay, sorry. We had a derailed moment. I had like a thought and I wanted to talk about it, but now I completely forgot. But it's okay, because it's fine. Yeah. We got a lot of good stuff anyways. Okay, now it's time for the fun part though.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Off the serious.
Yes. So I want to hear about your hobbies. And before you say them, I'm going to tell a story. So one time, my dad, Chris, he was talking to, was it a work friend?
It wasn't a work, it was his customer.
It was his customer. His customer asked him like what his wife's hobbies were.
Yeah, what does your wife like to do?
He said shopping. Yeah.
She likes to shop online.
She likes to shop. And that's true. She loves to shop. Mm-hmm. But that's just a funny thing to say. And if you don't know,
Yeah.
It's
So
kind
if you
of
don't
hard.
know, if you don't know about me, and like you would hear, oh, she likes to shop, and you're like, oh God, she's one of those women, But it's just such a bizarre thing
Like, your
to say
pockets
because.
must hurt.
But I do like to shop online, but it's really not shopping. It's studying.
Okay, so we're in public, and I see an outfit
fashion.
I like, and I'm like, Mom, who is that? And she's like, oh, it's Nadine Marabi. Oh, it's Misha. I'm like, how do you know this? And it's because she's seen everything. And then I send her something, and it's something I've never seen ever. And I'm like, I would like this. And she's like, no, everyone has it. I'm like, no one has it. I've never seen that before. And she's just because she's seen it 10 times.
Yeah, I'm a student of fashion. I love clothes.
Dad, I want to go to fashion school.
Yeah, I do. I probably had had more confidence in myself and had someone like telling me I could.
Yeah.
I probably would have done something in fashion if I had been able to because I've always loved
fashion marketing. You'd be good at that, I feel like.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Trend predictions, like trend forecasting, she's always on top of it. She knows.
Mm-hmm. I am. I love styling people. I love all of those things. Mm-hmm. It's really fun for me. And if there's anything you do in your life, it's find a job that's fun for you, because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you're miserable.
Yes.
And don't be miserable. You have to be happy.
You have to be flexible.
And you have to choose to be happy.
Yes.
Happiness is a choice. Yes. So my one hobby is fashion, and my other hobby is cats. Meow.
How many cats do we have? Like 9 million?
We have
6.
Hank,
Marty,
Fat Cat,
Falcon. Only 4?
Only 4.
We need more.
2 dogs.
Okay.
4 cats.
Okay, yeah, that's 6 animals. We have 6 animals.
Yes.
I want a cat with curly hair. I think I texted you that the other day.
Yes.
I would like a curly cat. If anyone knows where I can find one, I would like to buy
Did you
a
know
curly cat.
that Penelope, she had a litter mate that had curly hair?
And Penelope, okay, so our dog Penelope, she has super straight hair. She's super anxious. She sits around and shakes.
She's like a weenie dog Chihuahua mix.
She's probably more. She's yeah, she's
very anxious.
Oh my gosh, our other dog too had
a
whole poma or something on her.
That's a lipoma.
A lipoma?
That's what Penelope has.
Oh, what does Carly have?
Cancer.
Oh, Carly had cancer, and she had to get it removed, but she's all good now.
Yeah,
so,
she is. Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
I empowered her as a woman.
Yes, my mom empowered our doggy.
Cancer free.
No, okay, but tell them stories of how we acquired all of the kitty cats.
So the first cat was Fat Cat, and she was supposed to be a mouser at my old shop. And every day she would come inside and she'd roll herself all over my keyboard. And then one day I realized she had fleas. I was like, oh my gosh, we got to get rid of these fleas. So I brought her home and I was going to deflea her. And she just was meant to be an inside cat, not a mouser. And then we got, the boys. We got Hank and Marty, and they came from the SPCA, and that was during COVID. And I had gotten on the SPCA's website, and there was this cat, and it was precious. And he had long hair, and it was Marty. And his name was Floofy.
His name was a Floofy, and we changed it to Marty. He goes by Martin most of the time.
Yeah, his name was Floofy. We'll have to insert a picture of Floofy here.
I can't believe we changed it to Martin.
Yeah, you can check him out on Instagram too.
Yes, his Instagram is Marty with I think 2 Y's and then cat. You just look it up in my follows.
So Marty and Hank, when we got to the SPCA, they were in a little glass box together, and one was like this hairy gray cat, and the other was this regular old Halloween black cat.
Skinny black.
And they were completely intertwined and like the sweetest brothers ever.
The boys
and
together.
So we took Floofy out and we couldn't leave Floofy's brother. And I don't remember what Hank's name was.
I can't believe his name was Floofy.
Anyways, we brought him home and we renamed him very quickly to Martin and Hank. And then the last cat was
Pony.
Yes, Falcon. Falcon was I was at Luby's for lunch with my partner one day, and my business partner. We went outside, and I could hear this like horrible meow. It was pitiful, and I realized it was coming from the bushes. And so it took 3 people, but I was able to make a triangular trap, and we caught him. And my business partner, who is in his 60s, he mangled his arm in a holly bush trying to get the cat. But
oh my gosh.
Anyways, brought that home. Then on the way home, I didn't have anything to put her in, and she got stuck in my Tesla, like between like the...
Yeah.
I thought we were going to have to take the car or like the seat off the brackets because the cat was stuck in there. But eventually it came out, and many, many months later, now years later, she comes out about once a day for an hour.
I have a story about acquiring Falcon.
Yeah,
so,
she's feral for sure.
Whenever we first got Falcon, I named her Falcon because like I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy. It was so cute, and that's their mascot is Falcon. Now she goes by Pony. But when we first got her, she was staying in the room that's right next to this one, and they had left for the day. I think y'all were just running errands, and y'all had told me that I had to go in there like every 3 hours and just make sure the cat was okay, because it was a feral cat, like literally feral, and this big, very small.
Oh yeah,
would hide. So yeah. I went in there for my check, and I heard the cat. I didn't see it with my eyes, but I was like, okay, well, obviously it's in the room. Like, I hear it. So I left. And I closed the door. Then they come home a couple hours later. They go in to look for Pony. Nowhere to be seen. Not a meow to be heard. So the next steps are we, like, turn over the room, go through everything. Mom declares the cat dead. And says that in a few months we will smell it in the walls and that I murdered my cat. And Chris is like...
This is, like, that sounds exaggerated.
It's not.
But I'm passionate about cats.
Yeah, she, like, literally declared her dead within 10 minutes. Chris was like, we're gonna keep looking, like, it's gonna be fine. The cat was under the sink. There's like a tiny hole under the sink.
It wasn't under the sink.
Yeah.
It was like in the
walls,
cabinet box.
Yeah. So now to this day, actually, there's like one of those like Tyler's t-shirts, you know, that everybody used to wear. It has like pineapples on it. It's rolled up and stuffed in the hole so that no cats can.
There's also in that same hole, there's the noodles. So if anyone ever demos out those cabinets, they're going to be like, what the heck were these people
what were they doing?
Oh.
No, but Pony, she's still a feral, scaredy cat, but looks a lot more like Fat Cat these days.
Yeah.
Fat Cat's not fat, also, side note. Her name is...
Yeah. Her legal name is Cat Benatar.
Yes. I wanted to name her Laura, but they refused.
Well, everything you ever owned was named Laura.
Yeah, I had a tiny bird that we had also caught at the shop, and we named it Laura. It was like a whole hawk or something. Like, that was not an animal we were supposed to be keeping.
I think it was oh shoot, I can't remember.
It was a Tweety bird?
No.
Okay, well, I feel like we're coming to an end. So I want you to give them some final words that you want to leave the audience with. You can have a second to think about it.
Okay.
Thinking, thinking,
Life doesn't get better until you make it better. And then I have one more piece of advice.
Say it.
Honor other women in everything that you do.
Yes, absolutely. And prioritize your relationships with other women above almost anything aside from your own self. But
Yes. Loving yourself is the first woman who you have to love. And after you love yourself, you can finally see other women. And then that's when it really starts to build from there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the Southern Crown.
Thanks for finally having me.
Okay,
Chloe.
Finally. We're 7 episodes in.
Yeah. Lucky number 7.
Yes, exactly. She is the best one.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you for being on.
Thank
Put
you.
it here, Queen. I'll see you in the next one. Follow me on Instagram at the.southerncrown and chloe.deets and chloedeets.pageants.
And don't forget to follow Marty.
Yeah, don't forget to follow Marty. Also, the headshots for Texas Teen USA come out in like 11 days, so y'all do need to be following me so that you can find those. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!